This marks the beginning of Lela's journey, a path shaped by ancient prophecies, divine intervention, and a destiny that could not be denied. The threads of fate, woven by the spirits themselves, would guide her back to her origins, where the truth would be revealed, and the prophecy would be fulfilled in ways no one could have foreseen.
In Adankara's heart of dreams, secrets whisper lost it seems. Mystic shadows deep they dwell, tales of time they softly tell.
In the hidden African village of Adankara, where the royal family consulted ancient spirits to unveil the futures of their newborns, there lived a queen who rejoiced at the birth of a daughter named Lela. This tradition, as old as the village itself, required Queen Anuli to present her daughter to the seer to glimpse the threads of her fate woven by the spirits. As the seer peered into the depths of his mystical basin, a heavy silence enveloped the room. His eyes, clouded with the mysteries of the future, widened in astonishment. Queen Anuli's heart pounded like a ceremonial drum, each beat more frantic than the last. The seer finally spoke, his voice trembling like leaves in a storm. "This child is a vessel of immense power, blessed by the spirits themselves. Her destiny is shrouded in shadows and as startling as a bolt of lightning. She will bring about your downfall and claim your place by the side of your husband." Queen Anuli murmured, her voice a low, trembling whisper. "How can the spirits bestow such a cruel fate upon my only child?" Her words were heavy with disbelief and fear. "My daughter will cause my downfall and marry my husband? No, such an abomination will not befall my family." Desperation flickered in her eyes like a candle in a storm. She turned to the seer, her voice now a harsh command. "You will speak of this prophecy to no living soul, or you will lose your head." Queen Anuli left the seer's chamber, her mind a whirlwind of dread and determination. Returning to the palace, she was met by her husband, King Obinna, his eyes bright with curiosity. "What news do you bring from the seer?" he asked, his voice light and hopeful. Queen Anuli forced a smile, masking the turmoil within. "It is just a normal destiny," she lied smoothly. "Our daughter will bring great fortune to the village." King Obinna's face lit up with joy, his love for the child growing deeper with each passing moment. But beneath the surface of the queen's deceit, the seeds of tragedy were sown, setting the stage for a dark future. For 7 long months, Queen Anuli maintained the facade of a doting mother, her actions a carefully crafted masquerade. She cradled baby Lela in her arms, her every gesture dripping with feigned affection. She would whisk Lela away from King Obinna, playing with her for hours, her laughter echoing through the palace halls. To the untrained eye, it seemed like the queen's love for her daughter knew no bounds. But beneath this tender act lay a heart heavy with a dark and sinister plan. Each day, as she held her daughter close, Queen Anuli's mind churned with thoughts of the prophecy. The ominous words of the seer echoed in her ears like a haunting refrain. She would often find herself lost in thought, her eyes clouded with worry and dread. The queen's heart was a battlefield, torn between her maternal instincts and the fear of her foretold doom. Finally, after a year, Lela reached her first birthday, a milestone marked by uneasy celebration. The queen approached King Obinna, her request to carry Lela and play with her as usual seeming innocent enough. Without hesitation, the king handed over their daughter, his heart trusting and unknowing of the storm brewing beneath his wife's calm facade. Queen Anuli, with Lela cradled in her arms, immediately summoned her loyal servant, Enaji. Together they ventured into the nearby Kente forest, a place of ancient mystery and tranquility reserved solely for the royal family. The Kente forest, nestled by a vast unexplored sea, held secrets that no villager dared to uncover. It was a haven of peace where mystical beings and benign spirits resided, ensuring the safety of the environment for the royals. On that fateful day, the weather was a perfect guise for the queen's dark intentions. The sky was devoid of the harsh sun, casting a cool and gentle shade over the land. The air was crisp and refreshing, a deceptive calm before the impending storm. As they walked, the queen's mind was a cauldron of sinister plans hidden behind a mask of motherly affection. As the queen, young Lela, and Enaji strolled through the Kente forest, Queen Anuli's mind churned with sinister thoughts, searching for an excuse to be alone with her daughter. the presence of Enaji was merely a guise, for the queen's true intent was far darker than a mere walk. She knew that venturing out alone would arouse suspicion among the chiefs and the royal members. Suddenly, the sky betrayed them, and the sun burst forth with an almost unnatural intensity, casting harsh, blinding rays upon them. The cool, serene weather turned into an unbearable heatwave, as if the heavens themselves were privy to the queen's wicked plan. With an evil smile curling her lips, Queen Anuli saw her opportunity. "Go to the palace and bring the royal umbrella," she commanded, her voice laced with false concern. "The sun is too harsh for me and my child." Enaji, ever loyal, hesitated. "Your Majesty, it is not wise to remain here alone. Perhaps I should." Before he could finish, the queen's voice rose in fury. "Go to the palace and do as I command." Obediently, Enaji hurried away, leaving the queen and Lela alone. The queen's heart pounded with a mix of fear and resolve as she swiftly made her way to the nearby river that bordered the Kenti forest. With cold determination, she lifted her innocent daughter and threw her into the vast, unexplored sea. As the baby sank beneath the waves, the queen's voice echoed with finality, "Over my dead body will this prophecy come to pass." Disguising her true actions, Queen Anuli fled from the sea, her heart racing like a trapped animal. She sprinted back to the Kenti forest, her mind a whirl of deceit and desperation. As she reached the forest's edge, she began to shout, her voice a blend of panic and urgency, "Lela! Lela!" Her cries pierced the tranquil air, echoing through the ancient trees. From afar, Enaji heard the frantic calls and rushed back to the queen's side, his face etched with concern. "What is the matter, Your Majesty?" he asked, breathless from his sprint. The queen, masking her guilt with a facade of worry, replied, "I placed my only daughter down here to ease myself for a moment, and when I returned, she was gone." Her voice trembled convincingly, her eyes wide with feigned distress. "Go to the palace and call for help immediately. We must find Lela." Without a moment's hesitation, Enaji turned and dashed towards the palace, his heart pounding with fear for the young princess. Queen Anuli watched him go, a cold satisfaction mingling with her dread. The wheels of her dark plan were now set in irreversible motion. All the palace guards and villagers joined in the frantic search for Lela, combing through every inch of the Kenti forest. Their shouts and calls filled the air, but the forest remained silent, offering no clue to the girl's whereabouts. To divert any suspicion from herself, Queen Anuli issued a drastic order. "Cut down the Kenti forest, tree by tree if you must. We must find my daughter." Her voice was resolute, but a hint of desperation underlined her command. The chief, a wise and cautious man, stepped forward, his face creased with concern. "Your Majesty, what of the mysterious beings and benign spirits that dwell in this forest? They will be rendered homeless and might bring their wrath upon our village." The queen's eyes hardened, her patience worn thin. "I do not care. Do as I say." Her words were final, brooking no argument. Reluctantly, the villagers and guards set to work, their axes biting into the ancient trees. The forest that once stood as a sanctuary of peace and mystery was reduced to a desolate wasteland. The benign spirits and mysterious beings, now homeless and displaced, fled the village, their silent departure a harbinger of ominous times ahead. After a month of relentless searching, hope began to wane. The villagers and palace guards, weary and disheartened, started to believe that Lela had been taken by a malevolent spirit or a monstrous creature lurking in the depths of the forest. The whispers of the girl's tragic fate spread through the village like wildfire, sowing seeds of sorrow and resignation. In their desperation, they turned to the seer, seeking the truth that only he could reveal. However, the seer was entangled in the queen's web of deceit. He knew the grim reality but was bound by the queen's threat. As the villagers and chiefs gathered around him, their eyes pleading for answers, the seer wove a tale of darkness. The child, he began, his voice heavy with feigned sorrow, was taken by a dark spirit that haunts the forest. Such spirits are beyond our power to retrieve. We must accept this loss and move forward. The villagers murmured in despair, their last flicker of hope extinguished by the seer's words. Queen Anuli stood among them, her face a mask of shared grief, though inside she was a tumult of conflicted emotions. The lie, now set in stone, weighed heavily on her conscience, but she dared not reveal the terrible truth. However, Lela, a child marked by destiny and divine favor, was not destined to perish. As she sank into the sea's depths, the spirits of the deep recognized her sacred charm and divine favor. They carried her to the mysterious river within the Kenti forest, where she was discovered by a wandering fisherman named Juma. Guided by an unseen force, Juma took the infant to a distant village, far removed from the grasp of Queen Anuli's treachery. Years passed, and Lela grew into a strong and wise young woman, unaware of her true heritage. Raised by Juma, she learned the ways of the river and the secrets of the forest, her spirit as unyielding as the tides. The prophecy, once a source of fear and deceit, now lingered as a distant whisper, waiting for the day when destiny would bring her face to face with her past and the mother who had tried to seal her fate. This marks the beginning of Lela's journey, a path shaped by ancient prophecies, divine intervention, and a destiny that could not be denied. The threads of fate, woven by the spirits themselves, would guide her back to her origins, where the truth would be revealed and the prophecy would be fulfilled in ways no one could have foreseen. Years flew by like the winds sweeping across the vast African plains. Lela, now a vibrant young woman, had grown into her strength and wisdom under Juma's loving care. The village of Irumu, where she was raised, was a thriving community known for its strong traditions and deep reverence for nature. Surrounded by dense forests and tranquil rivers, Irumu was a place where the harmony between humans and the spirits was celebrated through songs, dances, and rituals. Lela stood out in the village not just for her beauty, but also for her exceptional skills. She had an innate understanding of the land and its mysteries, often guiding villagers safely through the forests and teaching them the ways of the rivers. Her knowledge of herbs and healing was unmatched, and many sought her out for remedies and advice. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an amber glow over the village, Lela sat by the riverbank, lost in thought. The water's gentle flow mirrored the tranquility in her heart, yet a lingering sense of something greater awaited her. She often felt a pull, a whisper in the wind calling her to a destiny she could not yet comprehend. Juma, now an elderly man, approached her with a knowing smile. His eyes, filled with wisdom and kindness, met hers as he sat beside her. "Lela," he began softly, "I have watched you grow into a remarkable woman. The spirits have a plan for you, a path that will lead you to your true destiny." Lela turned to him, her curiosity piqued. "What do you mean, Father?" Juma sighed, the weight of a long-held secret pressing upon him. "You are not my biological daughter, Lela. I found you as an infant by the river, guided by the spirits to take you in. Your true heritage is shrouded in mystery, but the time has come for you to discover your origins." Shock and confusion flickered across Lela's face. "Why have you never told me this before?" "The spirits revealed to me that the time to share this truth would come when you were ready. That time is now. You must journey to the village of Adankara, where you will find the answers you seek and face the destiny that awaits you." Despite the storm of emotions raging within her, Lela felt a strange sense of clarity and purpose. "I will go, Father," she said, determination lining her voice. "I will uncover the truth about my past and fulfill whatever destiny the spirits have in store for me." The next morning, with a heavy yet hopeful heart, Lela set out on her journey. Juma blessed her with a protective charm and a satchel of herbs for the road. The villagers, though saddened by her departure, understood the importance of her quest and offered their prayers and blessings. Lela's journey took her through dense forests and across vast plains, guided by the whispers of the spirits and her own intuition. Along the way, she encountered various challenges that tested her resolve and sharpened her skills. She helped a village plagued by a mysterious illness, using her knowledge of herbs to heal the sick. She negotiated peace between warring tribes, her wisdom and compassion earning their respect. With each challenge, Lela grew stronger, her connection to the spirits deepening. After weeks of travel, Lela finally reached the outskirts of Adankara. The village seemed familiar yet foreign, its ancient walls and towering trees whispering secrets of her past. As she walked through the village, she felt a strange sense of belonging mixed with an undercurrent of tension. The news of her arrival spread quickly, and soon she was summoned to the palace. The The villagers whispered among themselves, curious about the stranger who had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. As she approached the grand entrance of the palace, memories she couldn't quite place flickered in her mind. Queen Anuli, now aged and burdened by the years of guilt and secrecy, stood at the palace entrance, her eyes widening in shock as she beheld Lela. The resemblance was unmistakable. Lela was the spitting image of her late father. A wave of emotions crashed over the queen: fear, guilt, and a glimmer of hope. Could this be her lost daughter? Lela, too, felt a surge of recognition, though she couldn't understand why. "Your Majesty," she greeted, bowing respectfully. "I have come seeking answers about my past and my destiny." Queen Anuli, her voice trembling, replied, "Come inside, child. We have much to discuss." As they entered the grand hall, the queen motioned for Lela to sit. She looked at the young woman, her heart heavy with the burden of the truth she was about to reveal. "Years ago, I was told a prophecy that my daughter would bring about my downfall and claim my place. In my fear, I cast her into the river, believing it was the only way to prevent the prophecy. But it seems the spirits had other plans." Lela listened intently, her heart aching with the revelation. "You are my mother?" she asked, tears welling up in her eyes. Queen Anuli nodded, tears streaming down her own face. "Yes, Lela, I am your mother, and I have lived with the guilt of my actions every day since." The weight of the moment settled over them both, a silence filled with unspoken emotions and the bond of a broken family. "I forgive you," Mother Lela said softly. "The spirits have guided me here for a reason. We must face this prophecy together." Queen Anuli, overwhelmed with relief and sorrow, embraced her daughter. The reunion was bittersweet, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. In the days that followed, Lela and Queen Anuli worked together to restore harmony in Adankara. Lela's wisdom and strength quickly earned her the respect of the villagers, who began to see her as a beacon of hope. She taught them the ways of the spirits, sharing the knowledge she had gained from Juma and her own experiences. However, the prophecy still loomed over them, a shadow that could not be ignored. The villagers, aware of the ancient prediction, watched with bated breath, unsure of what the future held. One evening, as Lela and her mother sat by the palace fire, the seer entered, his face grave. "The time has come," he announced. "The prophecy must be faced." Lela stood, her resolve unwavering. "I am ready." The seer led them to the sacred grove where the spirits were strongest. The air was thick with anticipation as the villagers gathered, forming a circle around Lela and Queen Anuli. The seer began to chant, calling upon the spirits to reveal the true nature of the prophecy. As the chanting intensified, the ground trembled and a vision unfolded before them. It showed Lela, not as a destroyer, but as a savior. The prophecy had been misinterpreted. It was not about bringing destruction, but about bringing transformation and renewal. Lela's destiny was to lead Adankara into a new era of prosperity and harmony, guided by the wisdom of the spirits. Queen Anuli, overwhelmed with relief and joy, embraced her daughter. The villagers cheered, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude. Lela, now fully aware of her true purpose, vowed to lead Adankara with compassion and wisdom. Under Lela's guidance, Adankara flourished. She introduced new agricultural practices that improved the villagers' livelihoods and established schools to ensure that every child had access to education. She promoted the importance of harmony with nature, encouraging sustainable practices that preserved the environment and respected the spirits. Queen Anuli, free from the burden of guilt, supported her daughter in every way possible. Together, they strengthened the bonds within the community and fostered a sense of unity and purpose. The spirits, pleased with the turn of events, blessed the village with abundant harvests and protection from harm. Years passed, and Lela's name became legendary. She was known not just as a queen, but as a bridge between the human and spirit worlds. Her wisdom and compassion inspired generations, and her story was told and retold, a beacon of hope and a reminder of the power of forgiveness and redemption. As Lela looked over the thriving village of Adankara, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had embraced her destiny, transformed the prophecy, and led her people to a brighter future. the serpent's whisper had been silenced, replaced by the harmonious song of a village united by love, wisdom, and the guidance of the spirits. And so, the tale of Lela, the child of destiny, was etched into the annals of Adankara's history, a testament to the enduring power of truth, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of family.
In Adankara's heart of dreams, secrets whisper lost it seems. Mystic shadows deep they dwell, tales of time they softly tell. In the village veiled so tight, spirits dance in dim moonlight. Destinies are woven there, dreams they float in night's cool air. Voices in the dark, echoes of a spark. Shadows hide the truth in Adankara's view. Stories born of ancient days, voices hum in twilight's haze. In the quiet they reveal mystic truths that time can heal.